Hey guys, how you all doing? Welcome to the latest from the review. I do hope you're all well. Thank you ever so much for your continued support. Today we're going to look at DAIEFOU and survey. Okay, so how we consider nothing before our own participation and how it's received before our review as nothing ever was, which is quite difficult to consider. At the same time, it is relevant because of the way that we resolve and how time becomes its own complexity because of the way that we assist ourselves through definitive models such as Mayurveda, and that is when you look before you learn and listen, but resolve nothing because you know it to be. And that is really, really difficult again. And this position they've got me in is extremely difficult because I'm moving through a system 3, which is considerate of live participation, flow design, and actuality without the conception model. And the conception model would be considered necessary. And this itself is always active. Okay, so it may be quite difficult for you to get your head around again, but don't worry, I'm learning too. And what I'll do is just read as usual. We'll move through and we'll flow, and we'll see what we can do to dissolve the active view to consider me more, and me could consider me more before we do. Okay, and we'll leave it like that. Okay, so take a deep breath. So it's Nosferatu, which is very funny because Nosferatu is a vampire, and we could say the coronavirus has decided to take its power back because of the nature of malaria. Isn't that interesting? Right. Breathe. So what we'll do is we'll run a spin release at level 3, and then we'll assert through timer 4at. So timer 4at would authorize you to know before doing. Okay, so this is how you maneuver, but you display suggestive form and your view may be slightly askew, right? So we could say that the delivery view is how we receive, and that is the other by potential formality preset, right? Okay, so what we're looking at is expression, so how we look at each other as we're talking, and how it is we interpret the review because someone saw it first, right? So do you anticipate your and this is very, very funny, do you anticipate your client's movements because you already know how to receive yourself well? Therefore, all business is pre-decided because somebody knows you and how you react. All right, so we're looking at floor design level 3 to actualize our own formality before VMO, and that is how we are forming because of what we say and do, but not necessarily, right? Okay, it's very, very interesting indeed. All right, I need to pause it a moment because I've got Diana view coming through at level 3. So at the moment, I'm almost like this open cage, and each corridor is pointing towards me, but I don't exist. And then the manifestation of the intention is that I would resolve at all angles based upon a particular geometry, more commonly known as the flower of life. Probably we will look at it. It looks like the Star of David has decided that it is more important than anyone and is showing off. And so this is what happens as we become aware. We realize that human beings have gone too far into their participation and reflective state review, which is where they consider that everything has a human personality, including fish. And so we talk to the plants and the flowers, knowing damn well that they really get what we mean, and then they grow better because of it. Isn't that controlling? Right, hold on a second. All right, so let's start with level 2. So level 2 would be how we acknowledge ourselves because of how we feel. And so we could say that the dimensional recreational zone is always subjective, okay? The dimensional recreational zone is always subjective, and that comes in at 4, 5, and 6. All right, so we're looking at the way that they have been moving, and each vibrational review is reliant upon our reciprocity and delivery review. Okay, so who are you again? And take a deep breath. And then return to that space where nothing was not and is before you, that it would never oppose, because you always were yourself. And then let go of the concept of time, and that's within your subjective self opposing your unique definition. Okay, so this is what I'm choosing based upon what I see that is occurring, that is most suitable for us to deliver in a way that is non-offensive immediately, and now is before you and has always been. Okay, and so we want to break all hypnotic suggestions at this point that may be destructive physically, mentally, emotionally, and draining our capacity view, as we require energy, and that's natural and has always been natural. And so we're looking now at a directive path flow. So anywhere that your subconscious mind has programmed a charge which is traveling from A to B, but is opposing itself as it does, and that is creating a restrictive view so that you yourself cannot participate in a balanced life and formality. Okay, so just taking out the idea that we are, it is, and review. Okay, and so these statements are their own, and so we're looking at how the subconscious mind is delivering now that it has an instruction set and it's done respectfully. So instead of looking at things on the internet or reading and then storing them and expecting your mind to sort it out when you go to sleep, what's happening now is you are maneuvering to support what is and has been, as always, and its charge and flow design will change because of it. Okay, so it's not that we're investigating the subconscious mind, it's that we're learning to work with it respectfully and then deliver review in the best way we know how, and that is always within a unique and the biomimine, they're saying. So biomimine is how you transport yourself from moment to moment, but never do, because you realize nothing is before you. Okay, so we're looking at now moment and how it is they may have manipulated the view, state, and free. Okay, so the view, state, and free is how you appear before another without any flaw at all, and is jeopardized by what you don't see coming because it's always hidden before you. Okay, so before could mean underneath, it could mean in the near future, it could stand between you, above, below, it could be hovering in front of your head as a bumblebee, and that's actually a person. And so there are many ways of looking at this. I would say before the review would be my own identity that is showing me how things are, not necessarily what is, because it itself went first. Okay, so we could say the etheric review is the one that appears to be most contaminated because it's running around the astral and then showing us what is occurring before review, but it's happening to us now and there's no time because it is. Okay, so how is it we perceive an identity such as a ghost, okay, and it itself is not, because it identifies with you, therefore it shows me well. Okay, so looking again at the separation model and how oneness itself is formed because of what they say and do. Okay, so even as we speak, suggestive thoughts, they're trying to work out how it works. What we're saying is this: we're not scared of discussing it, and we consider that each may do it differently, and that's completely okay. The problem with oneness is that they assume that everyone's doing the same thing all the time. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But part of the Christ consciousness is to understand the nature of fearlessness and be, irrespective that it is, how do we live practically if that is required of us. Okay, so of us could mean that they do, they see, we do not exist. Okay, and we'll go into this in a little while, right? So take a deep breath. So we're filtering through level 3 now, right? So he's come up through the body, and that's illegal. Goodbye. Stop running these subjective sets. Plasticate, please. And can you release caliber tone via Mars Sone? Okay, so Mars is spinning equally and opposing Venus by review, and it has nothing to do with sacred geometry, so astrology may be perverted at the directive viewpoint, which is how we look at each other. Okay, and so we need to be really careful of that. Thank you. All right, I just need to pause for a moment. Here we go. It's a being that's coming to support me. I'm sorry if my voice is changing because I'm in the middle of channeling and supporting it too. All right. Okay, what I'm going to do is run Leo Famus Farimade. All right, so this is an activation more to do with the view of levitoing. Okay, so levitoing is when your body starts to take off and you yourself are having problems with it. Okay, so levitation is a natural part of discovery and also interpretation. All right, so it becomes very problematic now. If we look at the concept of time and how it opposes itself, we consider well and we review as is possible. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll stop here, I'll come back, and then what I'll do is run another view, and I'll start to bring in a diffuser system which will consider well the level of interference that's required as we, I would say, travel through. And the word travel is going into my frontal lobe and creating problems for me. So words themselves are becoming defiant, and that's probably because they're running them through dogs who won't do as they're told, because life is always occurring, and we could consider well as we develop before view a steady free, right? So it's view a steady free, all right, view a steady free. So that's how it's traveling before Mars. Okay, and we all know that Mars is a planet of experimentation, and that's due to human beings and how they perceive their life form before Atlantis. Okay, and I'll get into that shortly. What I would like to do is sort my throat chakra out, my larynx, and my vocal cords. Now, I am always held back from delivering the tone array because they see it as potentially dangerous and blow up everything because my voice is powerful. I'm getting pissed off with excuses. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put this to rest now, come back later, and then we'll continue. All right, but for now I'm sending you so much love. Sorry if my voice has dropped and I've gone into different frequencies. It simply is. And what we'll do is we'll call in some very profound races to assist. All right, sending you so much love, so much love. Thank you ever so much for your continued support. And if you would like to donate, I am Shani. Okay, so it's paypal.me/I am SHARNY. I am Shani. Okay, take care for now. Bye-bye.